Hey guys, Todd here with RC Ohio. I just wanted to do a maybe not so quick video, but the best video I can to show you guys my take on suspension limiting cables. Um, I own Traxxas eRevo 2.0, which has some very vulnerable parts on it, rod ends, specifically rod ends for the shocks, the suspension travel. And if you get in a nasty accident or you overextend too easily or too much, it'll pull the rod ends off. Um, I actually had a problem years ago with my HBI Baja 5B too, where I overextended and lost a dog bone in the back end. So I had actually bought a set of suspension limited cables from I think it was Killer RC that made them. I'm not sure if they still make them or they don't, but I never had a problem ever since then. So I figured I thought about this long and hard as to how to make these and make them good, to where they'll actually do their job and they won't pull out or they won't break or anything. So I finally devised an idea and I wanted to share it with everybody. And I'm really liking how it's turning out. So I just thought I'm liking how it's turning out. So I think I'm probably going to end up making them for the low C5B, and definitely I'm going to go ahead and make a set for well, not a set, four for each, four for the 5B, and four for the Kraken too, because it's heavy. And I think, if you limit your suspension by an eighth or a quarter inch, it's not going to do anything that's going to cause any problem with your performance, in my opinion. And if you limit it to where it can't drop out or bottom out, then I think it's going to be a lot easier on your shocks and everything else. So I figured I'd just give you a quick shoot of what I got on the 5B that came from Killer RC, which has worked really well, and then I'd show you what I'm doing, how I'm making it, and I don't know, if you have any questions or interest in it, just let me know. So take you over to the 5B, the HPI 5B, and show you the ones that I bought, and then I'll show you what I'm making for the Revo, and I'm gonna make the same things, probably heavier duty, but the same things for my other fifth scales. All right, so you can see what we got there. It's coming from the A-arm to the shock perch. I don't necessarily love the positioning. I feel like probably be a little stronger, maybe more effective if it were further out toward the end of the arm where the shock is. But all it's really doing is just limiting your drop. I'm sure that's probably pretty clear to everybody. But anyway, that's what I got going on there. I'll show you what I am using and my method. I have a few things that I wanted to show that I felt like I wouldn't use. These are like your cheaper wire eyelets that you'd get, like in a kit or whatever, that actually have a split. I don't know if you could see the split, but have the split down the barrel of the eyelet. Yep, there it is. I guess you could use those, but they could open, and if they open, they're just going to pull out. So I have these stainless steel ones that I got. I don't even know where I got them from, but they look like a split. Well, I can't quite get that to focus, but that's not an actual split all the way through. So that's a solid That's a solid eyelet. So I'm using that, and I'm using a heavy cable that we use at work. It's not that heavy. I'd say it's 3/16. Using the eyelet, the cable, and shrink tube. I've already made 3 of these. So I just wanted to kind of make 3 of them real quick, and that way I could kind of shorten the video for you guys a little bit. That way you can see what I did and how I did it. I'm going to show you one on the Revo now. Show you 3 of them actually. There's one complete on the front. So I'm really only limiting the drop of my suspension by about 1/8 inch. So if I get in a real bad accident or whatever, put a lot of down pressure here, it's going to save this rod end, that rod end, and the rod ends at the end of the shock. Here's a shot of one of the rear ones. It's kind of buried under there where I'm attached. So anyway, the way I measured my drop, or how much of my suspension I was going to limit, was I made up my top end first, complete with the cable in it, screwed it on, and then I took another eyelet and screwed it to the bottom without any crimp or anything. Put the cable through it. And essentially just move my suspension just a little like that. See how the cable moves through there. All I did was just move it just a little, so I knew how much cable I needed, and how, because I don't want to limit my suspension any more than I need to. So just a little bit of drop out right there, and I marked the cable. Took everything back apart and cut the mark, and then I'll show you a little bit of what I was doing to make it safe. So we'll go down to my soldering station right here. And what I did, I already soldered just a small ball on the end of the cable. Now this solder is for copper wire, so what you want to do is make sure you heat the cable very well and watch it disappear through the cable to tin the cable. That way it gets tangled inside of the cable, because it's really not adhering to this steel cable very well. I know I said cable about 10 times. So I'm just making a mock one here with you guys. Slide a piece of shrink tube over the end. Oh, well, anyway, let's just assume that there was an eyelet on the other end. We'll put one on just for the sake of argument. That's not working. Anyhow, I put my shrink wrap on, shrink tube, put the eyelet on. Let's put that guy like that. My soldering iron. Got it nice and hot. Put a little solder on each side of the soldering iron. Give it a little more contact to the cable so you're drawing heat. There, it's going through the cable real nice. I just kind of made a little ball on the end. Cool that down a little bit. So pretty much I made kind of a dead stop on there. Like a little ball, just a little snotty ball on there. Just so when I pull this, I'm probably gonna have to trim it a little. We still got a nice, decent sized little head on there. And pulled it just into the end of the eyelet. Grabbed a pair of really good crimpers, not the shitty little stamped ones, but the good ones. These are Thomas & Betts. You always want to put the tooth part on the opposite side of what looks like the split. Alright. So what I did is I took that little ball of solder and put it just inside of the barrel and then crimped the shit out of it. So now, got that real nice tooth mark that grabbed the shit out of the cable really good. And that ball of solder inside of there won't let the cable pull through that. Then I just took the shrink tube. It's a little snug, but I just put this on here because I'm kind of funny about how things look. So I wanted to give it a nice finished look. Just kind of push that on. Just past everything, best you can. And it's pretty snug, but got it. So that's on there. Sometimes you can kind of just grab it with your fingernails a little and pull it a little further on. So I got it on that far. I take my little mini heat gun. And that's a finished product, the finished end. So when I made the second rear one, I didn't actually push it through the barrel to measure it like that. I just laid them down next to one another and made them both the equal length. That way both sides of the suspension were limited at the same height. I do know that for the Revo, there are other products. They're fabric, and they actually go, I think, from this mount point right here to the end of the rocker right there. In my opinion, that's great. That'll definitely save your rod end or your shock end. But everything down here is not protected. If you put a cable on from here to here, it protects everything from here to here and the shock end. That was my beef with just putting them up on the rocker. You know, people are going from here, from the rocker to here, and limiting travel just a little bit like so. But again, everything else out here is vulnerable. So that's my take on it. This guy here, he's gonna get it too. I'm not exactly sure where or how, but once I make them, I'll show you guys. I don't know the mounting points yet. And then this guy's gonna get it too. So anyway, that's how I'm gonna limit my suspension and everything, and try to, you know, just help it out a little bit. So I thought I'd just give you guys my take on how it can be done, and again, I hope everybody's healthy. Everybody's healthy, their family's healthy, their friends are healthy, and if anybody's got this bastard virus, I hope you have a speedy recovery. I really do. All right, well, we'll talk soon. Thanks for watching.